Hi guys, welcome back to Girl Therapy. I'm your host, Nicole. I am home in Connecticut right now. If you're watching this right now, I'm in my bed and I'm in very rare form. I've been feeling like shit recently. I don't know what's going on. It's also really hot in here right now. I keep having like hot flashes and my skin's breaking out and I'm just so tired and I have my period and I'm bloated and I kind of have to poop right now. This TMI, but I've just been like, really, when I'm not feeling well, I get anxious because then I can't work out because I don't feel good, and then that makes me anxious because I have all this energy and I have nothing to do with it and I hate sitting around. So it's just been like the perfect storm of things, but that's okay. Everything's gonna be fine. I'm gonna feel better soon. This is temporary. This too shall pass. I actually already feel better just talking to the mic and talking to you guys. This just like, it's brought me back to life. This is the most like life I've felt actually in the last couple of days. So I love you guys. I'm home for my best friend Haley's bridal shower. So that was yesterday. It was beautiful. It was so great to see some more friends and family and to celebrate her. And I just can't believe she's getting married in 40 days. Like my little sister is getting married in 40 days. It's crazy. I'm really excited. So I'll be back in Connecticut for that. I feel like I was trying not to travel at all this summer, and all of a sudden I have all these trips coming up and nothing like out of the country. I'm not going to Europe. That'll be next year, but it's like I'm going to Rhode Island in 2 weeks, and then I'm going to Austin to celebrate Caitlin's 30th, and I'm celebrating Brandon's 30th in Rhode Island. So everybody's turning 30 this year, I guess. There's a lot of milestones happening this year, so it's really fun to be there for all my friends and support them, and just to have this amazing friend group too, who I'm just so proud of and I love so much, and I would love nothing more than to be there for them during these times in their lives. So it's been honestly like a pretty fun summer. Miami weather's been shit. My flight's already been delayed. I'm just happy they delayed it this morning before I even got to the airport, opposed to me getting there and sitting around waiting, because I would have been really angry. I have a couple more hours here at home to kill, which is fine, because like I said, I haven't been feeling well, so it's been hard for me to wake up and just like get things going. But anyways, no more of that. Last week, because I wasn't feeling well, was I not feeling well? I did a questions and confessions on my Instagram story because it's been a while since I did one of those. And one of you guys asked me if I could do a podcast episode talking about not falling for potential, because she was like, I seem to always do that, and that seems to be the cycle, and I don't really know what I'm doing wrong or how to not do this or how to know if it's like, if it's something real or if I'm just falling for potential again. And I was like, wow, this hits home, because I have definitely fallen for potential, and I am one to romanticize things and jump ahead of the gun a lot of the times because I'm just so romantic. Like, I want to be in love. Like, I want to find love. I think we all do. And it's really exciting at the beginning stages. But then it's like, I think back to times where I was like, oh yeah, this person's going to be like my husband. This is going to be my boyfriend. Like, I really, really like him. And then I'm like, well, I'm clearly not with that person. So what did I see in them at that beginning stage that looking at them now, I'm like, how did I not see that? You know, I think a lot of us fall victim to that. So we're just gonna like jump into that really quick. Like, just to go to like the core of a lot of this stuff. It's our attachment styles. Everything comes back to how secure you are, honestly, and how much you love yourself. And I think when you are falling for potential, we are clinging on to the hope of this person who we either want to be the one because they validate us, or it makes us feel good and we all love that feeling of love. Or we think, well, if it's not this person, who else is it gonna be? Okay, I gotta turn on the AC. I'm fucking dying right now. Wait 1 second. I'm fucking dying right now. Like, they really just want to like sweat me out here. I don't know. Okay. AC should be coming on, but I'm sorry, it's gonna like maybe be kind of loud in the background. But would you rather that or me not be able to do this podcast? Depending on our attachment style could be why we might be falling for potential. And for somebody who maybe has an anxious attachment style, and that's where you really cling on to people and you want to talk to them 24/7 and you seek a lot of validation in that person, and you get scared that you're going to get abandoned, you get scared that people are going to leave you, a lot of us that we grew up instilled in that. Some of us, I know that I definitely can have an anxious attachment style at times, with somebody who brings it out in me because of how I grew up and my father leaving, and that creates an anxious attachment style in a child. We want to do whatever we can to get that person and to feel loved and validated by them and to not be abandoned by them. So we do everything that we can to keep them around. And I think when you have an anxious attachment style, that can be triggered by the beginning talking stages. And when you're talking to somebody who it's like really hot with, you kind of want to like form a false sense of security with them. And you're like, I'm going to do everything I can to not make them leave. And you fall for this person, or you really think that you have stronger feelings than you actually do for this person. You have this false sense of emotional intimacy with them because that gives you a sense of security, because we want them to be like, oh, this is it. Like, I'm going to anxiously cling on to this person, but it's like, you don't really know them. You guys haven't created that actual bond. So you're attaching to somebody and you're falling for somebody who you don't really know. And you're not even looking at the real logistics of the relationship or the person. We're not really thinking things through. We're just like already putting them on this pedestal and falling for them. And I think that's quite common. I've definitely done that before. And then there's the avoidant who might also fall for potential because they want to actually avoid real intimacy, and that scares them. So they see that this person is not all that great, and they see that they're probably not the one, but they're falling for the potential of them because they know they're not actually that person. Both of these styles are definitely a way for us to protect ourselves, and neither are healthy, but the more you know, the better you can do, the better you can be. So I think first identifying like what your attachment style is, then you can kind of see why you might be falling for somebody who maybe isn't good for you or isn't the right person for you. The downside to being home is the dogs are dogging. Are we done here? Okay, so what falling for potential is essentially falling for somebody who isn't even that person. You are putting them on a pedestal. You are attaching a certain outcome to this person. And I'll tell you a little story about my experience with this. Well, some of you guys know, well, I always talk about Pineapple. Oh my God. But he honestly was like somebody who taught me so many things about myself. And he really, unfortunately and fortunately, was somebody who challenged me, and I think was kind of my twin flame in the fact where he mirrored a lot of things that were wrong with me, and not wrong, but like mirrored a lot of my insecurities, mirrored a lot of things to me that I had to fix. And we think twin flame, like, oh, that's your person. No, twin flame's always not your person. Twin flame is somebody who can teach you things about yourself and shows you exactly what is going on and what needs to be fixed. And he mirrored a lot of aspects of me. He was somebody who I fell for. I didn't see it coming. I think when I met him, long story short, when I met him, I definitely was not interested in a relationship. So me and him just hooked up, and that's what it was. And then slowly but surely, I'm just not that type of person who can just hook up and that be it. Like, I was like, oh, I'm going to end up dating this person. And throughout the time that I knew him, there were so many problems. There were so many red flags, but I had invested so much time and energy, and I really was like highlighting these good parts about him that I was like, if we just work on that or focus on that, like, he's not a bad guy. Like, I know he's a good guy. I know he could be such a great boyfriend. I know that he is capable, but he has to fix this. Like, this is what's wrong with him, and like, this is what's going on with him, and I can fix that, or maybe I could be the one to bring it out in him. If all those things are fixed, then like, he'd be amazing. And like, he just needs some time. He just needs a couple years. He just needs maybe a couple conversations. He just needs to see how I really feel about him, so he feels secure, and then he's okay going for this. Like, these are all the narratives that I told myself, and I pictured myself with him for a very long time. And I was just with him. Like, I even closed myself off. I was going on dates, but like really emotionally, I closed myself off to people because I was like, no, like he's going to be my person. Like, as soon as he comes around, and like, I don't want him to see me with somebody else and then think that doors closed for him. So like, I really kept a lot of the stuff that I, if I was going on dates or like talking to other men, like I didn't want him to ever see that. I didn't want him to ever like know what was going on in those aspects, because I never wanted him to feel like I didn't care about him, because none of those other things meant anything to me. And that's the reality of it. It was like, I was just hoping that he would come around and it would be him. And then when I really decided to be like, I need to get away from the situation, was when I was able to take a step back and really see him and his actions for what they were. And I had completely made up this person of who I wanted to date and who I thought he could be. But that wasn't him. I had to really look at his actions for what they were, and the things that he said to me and the things that he was doing. And I don't care. And he, posts on social media, oh, it's for social media. No, that's who you are. That you mean that you did that, So once I was able to stop looking at the things that I wanted him to be and who he really was, I was able to clearly be like, do I want to date this person? No. Do I want this person to be my boyfriend? No. Like, if he came to me, I would say to myself, if he came to you, Nicole, right now and said, I'm ready to be your boyfriend, would you date him? I was like, no, I couldn't. I couldn't date him because of what he's shown me. He would have to be like, okay, he'd have to change his behavior before I'd be willing to accept him. But the thing is that if you want somebody, and this is how you can tell if you're falling for potential, if you're actually falling for them, you have to be ready to take them as they are right now. Just right as they are. You can't take the version that you've created in your head. You can't take a version that might be them in a couple years from now. You have to take them as they are. What's really something important to do when you are getting to know somebody and starting to be excited about somebody, which is totally okay. Be excited. Don't tie any specific outcomes, because I think that's when you can get a little messy. But be like, what are the qualities that I like about this person? What are the character traits about this person that I am attracted to? What about this person is somebody who makes me see a future with them? And really start like thinking about actual things that you like about this person. And it can't just be that they're hot. That attraction is important, but I think a lot of the times too, we see a hot guy and we're like, oh my God, like you just like picture yourself next to them. You like try out their last name a little bit. You like are like, our styles, oh, we look so hot together. And then we're already picturing ourselves with this person, right? Before we even really know them, before we've even really seen how they act or treat us, we're thinking about how we're gonna look together. But we're not, and like maybe the chemistry that we feel with them, the sexual chemistry, but we're not actually thinking the emotional intimacy or the emotional connection with this person. And when I think you're picturing yourself dating them and you're picturing yourself with them and by your side and doing all these things with you, you're already now being like, well, it has to work with this person. Like it has to be this person. And then you're willing to compromise or abandon a lot of times your needs or your values to make this person fit into your life, to make them fit into this romance that you want or this relationship that you want, because you want the picture of it. But then when it comes down to the details of it, it's like, oh, well, shit, like maybe he doesn't have these things, but like that's okay. Like, you know, he's hot, or that's okay. Like I already, invested this much time in him, so might as well try to make it work or figure it out, or that's okay, maybe we can fix it or change it. No, you can't do those things. We want the lust really badly. And that's what that is. It's like you're chasing that lusty feeling. We're chasing like that feeling of being in love. Like, I could be in love with this person. Like, this person could make me feel all these things. We want the love. We want the romance. We want the story. We want like the version that we created in our head of like what it would look like to be with this person, but not the actual person. It's like at that point, anybody will do. You just want the feelings that that person's giving you. That's not falling for somebody for who they are. That's falling for somebody because you've attached outcomes and feelings and things to this person. They validate you in some way. And now you think, if I don't get this person, I'm not going to feel good. I'm not going to feel validated. I'm going to feel like a loser. I'm going to feel like I lost this person who I wanted to be the end all be all, who looked good next to me, who like I already told my friends and family about. I think that's a big thing. I think at the beginning stages, we get so excited about somebody. We tell people about them. And then because we've told people about them, or we've told somebody like, hey, like, I think this could be the one, or I think like he makes me feel so special or so different, or I think we'd be really great together, blah, 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 blah. And you don't even really know this person yet. You're just going based off of your excitement and your first date and your feelings. It comes to a point where you're just like, well, I need it to work with this person because like I told people like this was my person, and like I've told myself this was my person. So if it doesn't work with them, there's something wrong with me, which isn't true whatsoever. If it doesn't work with them, they're just not your person, and that's okay. We only need one person in the world to like us, and yeah, that sounds kind of scary actually. Like, how are we going to find that one person? But we will. I think another reason why we get so crazy about somebody or fall for the potential of somebody is because of our phones and the access that we have to that person. I think social media has really skewed that for us, and really getting to know somebody at a respectable pace. Being able to constantly text somebody, call somebody, FaceTime them, send them reels, TikToks, watch their social media. We've really accelerated the pace of getting to know somebody. And it's nice. There's positives to that, but there's also negatives to that. And I think if you're somebody with like an anxious attachment style, I think if you're somebody who moves really quick already or feels really deep already, just really wants to be in a relationship really bad and falls victim to falling for potential, I think social media and phones and like having constant access to that person can be really bad, because I have always said like I will not text somebody like crazy at the beginning. I think that creates this false sense of security and this false sense of knowing somebody. And it's crazy how you can go like one day not even knowing this person to the next day, maybe having talked to them for like 12 hours straight and like talking to them nonstop, this constant flow, this constant stream of conversation. And by the end of like the week, you might feel like you've already been with this person for a year, or you know this person so well, but you haven't even spent any time with them. And it's like, oh, like, look, like we talk so much. He likes me so much. He already told me he likes me and we haven't even met yet. But it's like, you don't know that person. Texting sometimes can just be so mindless and it's so easy. And texting fills a lot of voids for people. It makes people feel less lonely. It makes people feel like they know somebody. It, is entertaining. It validates people. Oh, they texted me back. Like even that's validating, in a way. Oh, they liked my story. Oh, they watched my story. Oh, they commented on this. They sent me this. They thought of me during this. They called me. It's a lot. It's a lot. And when you talk, of course, like you're going to feel like closer to somebody when you've just talked to them for a couple days straight. But all that could be ripped away so quickly. And that's the scary part too. It's like you could be talking to somebody for a week straight and then all of a sudden never hear from them again. And it's like, oh, that's all that was. I was already in a relationship mentally with that person. Like I already pictured us getting married. And like, it's like, whoa, that's crazy. You don't even know that person. So I think we really need to be better at monitoring how fast we're moving with somebody. And like drawing a line in a sense and being comfortable moving at a slow pace, because that relationship that you want so badly was not built in a day. The best friend relationship that you want with somebody doesn't happen overnight, and it doesn't happen because you guys are texting nonstop. That stuff has to happen over time. And when you physically spending time with somebody, spending real quality time together, and not doing the mindless texting. I think it's really childish, sorry, but like I think that if you are texting somebody nonstop, have hobbies, have stuff going on, be busy. I think it is a red flag when somebody's texting you nonstop. And I think that they're either trying to get validation or maybe they're love bombing you too and trying to get you to fall for them. Just how we get like that dopamine release when we're using social media. Whenever you are texting somebody or talking to somebody, or it's the beginning stages of dating somebody, it's really exciting. And there's a lot of chemicals being released in our brain at this time. There's a lot happening up there. We're getting the dopamine released. We're getting the oxytocin released. We're getting the norepinephrine released in our brains. And that little mix of chemicals that's happening can cloud our judgment and can make us feel closer to somebody, because it's giving us that feeling of pleasure and bonding and excitement. It's like all that mix into one. It's a lot happening at once. Just keep that in mind when you are talking to somebody at the beginning. So I think the biggest thing to not fall for potential, the biggest thing to really be like, do I like this person, is to slow things down. If you feel like I need to respond to this person, I need to be at their beck and call, I need to be jump when they say jump type of thing, you're probably just falling for potential. Because if you really know this person, if you think that they really care about you, if you really think that they could be the person, you can't rush that. If you see indefinitely with this person, if you see this person in your future, there's no reason to feel like you have to rush it, or there's no reason to feel like if you don't do a certain thing, they're gonna leave. You have to create balance and healthy boundaries at the beginning. Slower is always healthier. I think the biggest thing that pretty much is all encompassing is just time. Good things take time. Strong relationships, strong bonds take time. Just like you can't be best friends with somebody overnight, snap your fingers. You don't really know that person. You can't just be like, that's my bestie, that's my girl. It's like, well, you don't really know them yet. Yeah, that could be exciting at the beginning. Like, I found this person who matches my energy perfectly and this, that, and the other thing. But as you get to know them more, it's like you start to be like, oh, well, okay, there's these things. And I think like same thing when people who move really quickly in relationships and they're just like bouncing off the excitement of the beginning and that honeymoon phase, right? Where it's like the first 3 months of dating somebody, you're really, really excited, or the first couple months or weeks of dating somebody, you're really excited, and you glaze over things that are wrong with them because you just really like them. You resent certain things about them because you overlooked them at the beginning, or you're like, oh, maybe like when it starts to get serious, you're like, maybe I don't really like this person because like that thing that they do like bothers me. And if you had just taken a step back and taken some time, you would have been able to notice those things and be like, well, that's not a person that I want to be with, or that's not a quality of somebody who I want to be with, or that really irritates me about that person, and I can't date somebody who does that or is like that, because that's something that you're gonna have to commit to when you are dating somebody. You have to just take them for as they are. So allowing yourself the time to put distance between you and this person too, so that when you're not with them, you can now process your feelings and process the situation and process like that time you just spent together and be like, Did I enjoy that? Did I learn more about them? What did I learn about them that I like? Do I really like them? Do I miss them? Do I, want more of them? Do I want to learn more about them? And then you're able to process that instead of being in like the constant, if you're constantly with them, constantly talking about them, you're never giving yourself time to process. And that comes down again to having a secure attachment and being like okay with putting some space between you guys. It's okay that it's going to take some time, because I think if you're just rapid firing off and whatever, like I said, there's no space for you to even think clearly. There's no space for you to even come to your own conclusions about this person. Again, like, to make sure that you're not falling for potential or making sure that somebody isn't making you fall for their potential is also, it goes hand in hand with time consistency. Is this person showing up as the same person? Are they showing up as reliable? When they say they're going to do something, do they do it? When they say we're going to do something and we make plans, do they follow through with it? Do they reach out to me? Do they consistently call me, or do I consistently hear from them? If you're consistently hearing from somebody for a week, cool, not that impressive. If you're consistently hearing from somebody for a month, more impressive. That you're starting to get to know their patterns. If you're consistently hearing something from somebody for 3 months, amazing, and so on. And it's like, okay, that's somebody who I want to date. I don't want to date the guy who can only be consistent for a week. I want to date the person who can be consistent forever. The more time that you allow that to be, the more apparent that'll become. Yeah, I think like how to know also if you really like somebody is how consistent are you? Do you find yourself wanting to speak to this person on a consistent basis? Do you find yourself wanting to learn more about them? Are you looking at this person and admiring the things about them? Or are you just looking at the big picture? That's another thing to decipher. Do I like the way that this person did this and this and this? And not, well, it's okay that they did that, but because like big picture, I'm going to date them. Can you write a list of qualities that you like about this person? Personality traits, character traits, things that they did. Why do you like this person? Do you like how passionate they are about things? Do you like how they treat your friends? Do you like the friendships in their life? Do you like how you can give them the smallest little topic or ask them the most simple question and they'll dive headfirst into it and give you a half-hour answer? What is it besides just the idea of being with this person that I like? The idea of somebody can be so pleasant. The idea of somebody can be so perfect. But the idea of somebody is just an idea. Until you have factual evidence and until there is time to back that up, you really have no idea. You're building somebody up in your head who you haven't even allowed the space for them to prove to you or show you who they actually are. And when you do that, you're probably going to be disappointed or fall for somebody who isn't actually that person. I fell for pineapple, but I fell for pineapple in my head. I fell for the pineapple that I created. I didn't fall for the pineapple who was right in front of me. And that led me into very sticky territory, because if I even had ended up in a really committed relationship with him, I think about it now, I would have ended up with somebody who I wasn't happy with. I would have ended up with somebody who would have wasted even more of my time. And whether or not this person is somebody who is maybe moving really quick and almost love bombing you in a way and you're falling for that potential, or somebody who is not the person that you want them to be right now, but you really are lusting after them, so you're falling for the potential of who they could be and therefore attached to them. No matter what it is, you need to really think, do I actually like this person? Or are they validating me in some way, shape, or form? Do I like the validation that comes with this person? And with pineapple, for me, it was like I spent so much time and energy, and I was really uncertain about myself. I was uncertain about the fact whether or not people would stick around for me. I was not confident in a lot of aspects of my life and who I was. If I could get him to say yes to me, it'll make everything okay. It'll validate me. And the little spurts of validation that he gave me, whether it was him texting me back or calling me or wanting to see me or hanging out with me or us having a really good positive day together, or getting him to open up to me about something or have a conversation, those little things of validation kept me hooked. It wasn't him that I wanted. I just wanted something from him. And when I was able to like remove my ego was when I was really able to be like, who am I? And what do I really want? Who's the person who I want next to me? Is that person going to act like this? No, they're not. And then that's when you draw boundaries. That's when you have standards. That's when you have requirements. If you are willing to fall for anything, you stand for nothing. I was willing to fall for anything. It was so wrong, the way that he treated me, the things that he did to me. Everything I made excuses for because I was so attached to the outcome. Whatever would get me to that outcome, I would bypass. Like, if it would get me to the outcome, I didn't care. If I had to forgive him for that little thing to get me to date him, I didn't care. I would. I was willing to sacrifice so many values, so many things that I cared about, so many things that I wanted in a person. Loyalty, trust, reliability. Threw them all out the window to get this person. And that's falling for potential. Right there, that's falling for potential because that's not that person. And I would have been so hurt if I ended up with him. It all comes down to self-love. You need to love yourself so fucking much. You need to love yourself more than any other person. You are so much more important than getting their validation, than receiving their love. You don't need the Hawkeye sitting next to you to feel good about yourself. That doesn't mean that you made it. That doesn't mean that you won. That doesn't mean that all your problems are gone. Accept people as they are and not who you want them to be. People will show you who they are. You just need to open up your eyes. You need to open up your ears. Stop being so worried about whether or not this person likes you. How about whether or not you like you? How about whether or not you like this person? I always say to flip it whenever anybody even goes into dates. It's not about will this person like me? It's will I like this person? When you flip the narrative like that, you're able to really think clearly. Your identity is not tied to this person. Fucking love yourself. Be okay with being alone. Be okay with your own company. Be okay with things not working out. If I was okay with things not working out a lot sooner, I would have saved myself a lot of time. I don't blame myself. I was young. I was going through stuff. We all do it. It happens. I'm just happy that I made it out of that a stronger person, and now I know myself more, and I will never do that again. And I can teach you guys or talk to you guys about it because I want to validate you in the sense that I say it's okay to make mistakes. It's okay to fall for potential. It's not okay to continue to do it. It's not okay to continue to fall for potential, not try to fix it, and then wonder why you're ending up with the wrong person. Slow down. Love yourself so that you can find the love that you really deserve and accept the love that you actually deserve. I hope that this was helpful. I tried to keep it as real and raw and vulnerable with you guys as possible. I don't want to shame anybody for falling for potential or shame anybody ever. I will see you all next week on Girl Therapy. Make sure you're following me here on YouTube at Nicole Doyon, TikTok Nicole_Doyon, Snapchat Nicole Doyon, and Instagram Nicole Doyon. But I love you. Make sure never let me love you more than you love you, but never let anybody love you more than you love you. That is the key to everything. That is the answer to everything. Self-love is the answer to everything. Okay? Bye.